Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Go Premanandi. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Abhay Chandra Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananda Gauri Vaishnava Vrind Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की. श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की. वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, गंगा माई की, यमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की. युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की. श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशन बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की. श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशन प्रसारम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Coming to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 14, verse number 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, Chapter 14, text number 16. Satema vinashedvira prajanam shema lakshanaha Yasmin vinashti nirpatir Aishwaryadavarohati. Satema vinashedvira prajanam shema lakshanaha Yasmin vinashti nirpatir Aishwaryadavarohati. Satema vinashedvira prajanam shema lakshanaha Yasmin vinashti nirpatir Aishwaryadavarohati. word for word. Sa, that's spiritual life. Te, by you. Ma, do not. Vinashaye, let it be spoiled. Veera, O hero. Prajanam, of the people. Shema Lakshanaha, the cause of prosperity. Yasmin, which. Vinashate, being spoiled. Nirpati, the king. Aishwarya, from opulence. Avarohati, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charna Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The sages continued, O great hero, for this reason you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulent and royal position. Formerly, in practically all parts of the world, there were monarchies, but gradually as monarchy declined from the ideal life of religion to the godless life of sense gratification, monarchies all over the world were abolished. However, simply abolishing monarchy and placing it with democracy is not sufficient unless the government men are religious and follow in the footsteps of great religious personalities. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatirubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'll read the verse again. Canto 4, chapter 14, text number 16. The sages continued, O great hero, for this reason you should not be the cause of spoiling the spiritual life of the general populace. If their spiritual life is spoiled because of your activities, you will certainly fall down from your opulent and royal position. So this verse, text 16, and yesterday Chidananda Prabhu spoke in verse number 15. So verse 15 is the injunctions, what you should do, and text 16 is the prohibition, what you shouldn't do. So it talks on the behavior duties of a king, which has been repeated in so many places in the Bhagavatam. Obviously, just preceding this was the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah, in one sense, when Dhruva Maharaj was going astray, Swayambhuva Manu comes there to put him in check, and he tells him, he uses the word Aritosha, you're being led by excessive anger. So it was only one yaksha who killed your brother. Why are you going on a killing spree? Obviously, our acharyas comment that Dhruva Maharaj also acted in that way, because had he been a little relaxed, people would have said, oh, because his stepbrother had caused him pain and insult when he was younger, maybe he's being a little easy. So so the sages are advising, or Swayambhuva Manu is advising King Dhruva. And again, in so many places in the Bhagavatam, especially in the 7th canto too, there's a section towards the end, the perfect behavior of people situated in different statuses of life. So now here we're seeing the sages are offering King Veena a reality check. Interestingly, when I was reading through this, especially, there's a lot of similarity, or these qualities in behavior are spoken of by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 16, divine and demoniac natures. So Krishna's the first 4 verses, the first 4 verses speak on the godly qualities, adambitvam, amanitvam, humility, pridelessness, and in the end he says these are devoted to those of a godly nature. And then in text number 5, in actually verse number 5, Krishna says those that are endowed with divine qualities are conducive for liberation, whereas others who are not, they are wired to a demoniac mentality. And in that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes something that just stands out. Why did he consider Arjuna not to be because Arjuna was about to kill his his kinsmen or the people on the other side. The act of killing is actually demoniac, and Arjuna was not in favor of killing. But Srila Prabhupada writes in that purport that Arjuna is not demoniac because of what? This is one quality. Sorry? Krishna is with him? Yes. Yeah. He's soft-hearted. Yeah. He's not envious. Anyone else? It's around that. But yeah. Because Arjuna considers the pros and cons of fighting. He's actually weighing the situation and is seeing, So those with that godly mentality are actually will always. So later in the chapter 16, there's a verse, or actually in text number 7 itself, pravritim cha, nivritim cha. Those who are alluded by this, they don't know what to do and what not to do. So they don't have that power of discernment, that power of discrimination. So when in some situations when your power of discrimination is, influenced by the modes, then you need to understand that we are gravitating towards lower tendencies. So Arjuna is considering the pros and cons, and because of that, his fighting, he's considering, whether he should really kill the sons of Dhritarashtra or Bhishma and Drona. Because of that, sense of compassion, or he's soft-hearted. Yep, he's not envious because he doesn't want the position, and because Krishna is with him. So obviously, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever there's Krishna, there's opulence, victory. So he's able to he's not considered to be demoniac. Now, in 16:18, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, taking shelter of insatiable lust, those with that demoniac quality, they out to destroy you know the world by their acts. And in fact, there's a Chaitanya Charan Prabhu wrote a very beautiful article. They're actually driven by their false ego. Prabhu writes, when the ego says go, tell the ego to go. Which means, a lot of times when someone disagrees with us, or we are not able to come to terms, we're not able to, get things on our terms, we usually try to control the situation and just, manipulate it in such a way that, we get the desired outcome. And obviously, now there are some places where it is justified, there are every means of justification. But where it is solely driven by lust, greed, and passion, then that's when we need to understand that it's not holistic, or things, we need to, that's what Krishna described at length. In fact, if you read the 16th chapter of the Gita, only the first 3 or 4 verses speak of godly qualities, the rest of the chapter speaks of demoniac qualities. So now, there is, King Veena has been advised on Dharma, the ways of Dharma, because obviously he's doing things which, in the previous verse, if the king follows Dharma, then they elevate it to the heavenly kingdom, which is devoid of all miseries, and they achieve unlimited happiness in life. But obviously, we know of, Prabhupada speaks, that's Dharma, that's just material codes of conduct as described by the Manu Samhita. But then higher than that is devotion to the Supreme Lord, which actually supersedes all of it, and how Dharma actually shows us to do the right thing, but to do the right thing in the right way, that's actually what Krishna, speaks directly, on in terms of devotional service. So doing something the right thing, the right way, is probably the most ideal way of coming to that, and that Krishna speaks to that in chapter 10, verse number 10. The Chaturshloki Tesham Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Vadim Yogam De Yenamam Upayanti De. So, to those that are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. So that Krishna given intelligence, helps us to see things in the right perspective. Often Srila Prabhupada would say, intelligence means coming, analyzing a situation through various angles and coming to the same conclusion. So, and in fact, one of the place, sort of unrelated, but we can tie it in, enthusiasm. How does Srila Prabhupada define enthusiasm? Nectar of Instruction. What is Srila Prabhupada's definition? Yeah. Endeavor with intelligence. Endeavor with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. And it's such a beautiful, enthusiasm, or else the material or the mundane view of enthusiasm is, I see a carrot and I try to go get it. But then how do you, get it, do the right thing the right way? Interestingly enough, I was listening to a talk by His Holiness Romapad Swami on this very same verse, and he was beautifully describing, intelligence in context of the pastime of Ashwatthama, the killing of Ashwatthama by Arjuna in the first canto, chapter number 7. So as the pastime unfolds, after the battle, when the warriors on both sides, is described, have been sent to their respective destinations, Ashwatthama, the son of Drona, enters into the camp of the Pandavas, where the 5 sons of Draupadi are lying asleep, and he beheads them. And he brings all their heads to Duryodhana as a present. And the Sanskrit of it is Duryodhana, the word that is described as Jugupshitam, which is, he's condemning this heinous act and he disapproves it. So even Duryodhan, who's who's been so envious, who's been, humiliated, who actually called for this war, even he doesn't approve of this act of Ashwatthama. When Arjuna comes to know of it, the news is basically conveyed to Draupadi, and Draupadi is grieving. At that time, Arjuna makes a vow, and he takes a vow that I'm going to behead these sons. I'm going to behead Ashwatthama, and the moment I bring, after I've presented his head to you, after the offering of, the funeral of the 5 sons, you will take your bath standing on his head. So that is the vow that Arjuna takes. Obviously, Arjuna is known for taking many vows in Mahabharata. He also, Krishna, mildly chastises him for, don't say things which, you can't really, you also put me in anxiety. So Arjuna takes that vow, and he marches forward. And in the moment Ashwatthama realizes that, now, Arjuna is after him because his horse is tired, he doesn't know what to do, he releases the Brahmastra. Now, because he's a son of a Brahmana, but he's actually not fully qualified, he knows how to, release the Brahmastra, but he doesn't know how to retract it. And at that very moment, Arjuna, being scared for his life, he actually offers prayers. He's reaching out to Krishna to help, and he's offering prayers. And then actually, if you see in verse number 26 of the same chapter, chapter 7, Prabhupada writes, that is Arjuna, whenever he's in difficulty, as he's seeing difficulties, to approach Krishna, he's offering prayers. So only and we see in instance of so many personalities in the Bhagavatam, when the moment they are encountering some danger, rather than going and placing their request first, they actually offer prayers, which means that they know, the way to approach Krishna is through prayers, and prayers from the heart. Each of them, their prayers are unique to their circumstances and their consciousness. So even for us in our lives, when we put in perplexing situations, yes, it's good. We come to Radha Gopinath and just, Radha Gopinath, help me. But, we, at least following, especially in this purport, it said here, they follow in the footsteps of great religious personalities. What do these personalities do? Gajendra, Prahlad Maharaj, all of them, they offer prayers. So Arjuna offers prayers, and Krishna tells him that this son, Brahma Bandhu, not even a Brahmana, but the son of a Brahmana, unworthy son of a Brahmana, has actually released a Brahmastra, but you can actually counteract that with your own Brahmastra. So it is said that the true Brahmastras, they collide, and there's, it seems that as though it's the annihilation of the universe. And then Arjuna arrests him, and he drags him like an animal, even though he's a Brahmana, but because he's acted below his character. So he's then once that happens, Krishna, again, just to test Arjuna, he's telling him, you took a vow, just to remind him. And then he tells him, those, obviously it's described in the first chapter of the Gita, those that are aggressors, who give you poison, who attack you, from the back, who kidnap your wife, who plunder your wealth, they are meant to be punished. So he's giving him all these reasons that, this son of a Brahmana, he's, if you don't punish him, as per the Manu Samhita, then in the next life he'll suffer. So, you have to offer him punishment. So he tells them, he gives all these reasons to Arjuna, just to test him. Prabhupada writes in the purport. And then Arjuna, when he hears these reasoning, he's actually not inclined to kill him. And Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the purport that just to test Arjuna, Krishna is actually, saying these words. The whole situation has been, you can say, orchestrated by Krishna. Killing of the sons, but actually putting Krishna in that conflict-like situation So now Arjuna is, you know, he's obviously feeling that gratitude to Drona, and he's not wanting to kill him. So he takes Ashwadama to the camp, and he presents to Draupadi. And then Draupadi, seeing him as the son of their spiritual master, she offers him respect, even though he's not worthy of respect. So she offers him respect, and actually because she's soft-hearted, Prabhupada writes, uh, and she gives various reasons. She says, because the son represents the father, we shouldn't, killing him would be disrespectful. We wouldn't be, properly respecting, Dronacharya, and also spare a thought for his mother. I don't want his mother to go through what I have, what I've just been through. So she offers that reason, and she tells him, "Don't do it." Then what? Who does he go to next? Who does Arjuna turn to next? Yudhishthir. He turns to Yudhishthir, and Yudhishthir, Dharmaraj, tells him, yeah, actually, if a person is sitting, if the aggressor is without any weapons, then yes, you shouldn't kill him. So again, what we're trying to get to is, we're going by lines of dharma. The code of dharma is that one code of dharma says you should kill them if they've acted in such a way. And then the other, Draupadi is offering her view. And then here you see Dharmaraj himself is saying, yes, actually, if they're unarmed, you shouldn't kill them. And we shouldn't humiliate our teacher, Dronacharya. So now Yudhishthir and Draupadi both are saying, don't kill him. Who does he turn to next? Bhim. Bhim says, kill him. If you don't kill him, I have my club ready. I'll kill him. And now just imagine Arjuna's plight. He took a vow. He was feeling like he was inclined to not killing him. And then, Draupadi and Yudhishthira says, don't kill him. And now Bhim sings, kill him. It is described in the next purport, or in the next verse. Krishna is standing there smiling. He's smiling there, and he says that, it's described in that verse that obviously Krishna in his form, Krishna is there in his two-arm form in front of Arjuna. And just to help Arjuna, he manifests his two other hands. And to help Arjuna with this situation. And then Krishna again tells him, Arjuna, you've taken a vow. So you have to fulfill that vow. Secondly, you have to please me and Bhim. So now there are two views. Yudhishthir and Draupadi, and then Bhim and Krishna. So Arjuna is like, okay, what do I do? Again, Techam Sada Yuktanam. That intelligence that, by which one is steered to do the right thing in the right way. And as described, that Krishna knows exactly what to do. He takes off his sword and he chops off, the crown, the jewel. He disfigures his hair, and in that way he humiliates Ashwatthama. So he kills him, and he doesn't kill him at the same time. Meanwhile, respecting both views of both opinions. So again, now that's dharma, to be seen in different ways, and Krishna inspires him to do so. So yeah, even in our own lives, we'll be, life is difficult. There'll be so many decisions. There'll be so many situations which we wouldn't know what to do. So we should be intelligent enough to at least turn to Krishna, come to Radha Gopinath, obviously we offer prayers. Our situation may be, sometimes the situation our uncertainty is so overwhelming that we won't be able to even come to that clarity of thought, that moment that we can actually think of what should we do. Krishna offers an answer, obviously. in the end, at the end of the 14th chapter of the Gita, avyabhicharana bhakti. So undeviated. And also earlier Krishna says in the 10th chapter of the Gita, especially verse number 10, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love. So we execute the different angas, the different items of devotional service with enthusiasm, with love, undeviated, unmotivated. And then we'd be surprised that Krishna actually does offer, that guidance. I mean, to also turn to him internally, have that sense of that connection with Krishna, and also externally with our circumstances, whatever that may be. And it's interesting because when we follow great personalities like once I think with Srila Prabhupada when he was in Juhu, he fought so hard. He actually that's the temple where he actually spent, I don't know, they came up with maybe like 554 days of his life that he actually dedicated to serving with Juhu. And in the end, when Mr. Nair left this planet, when they conveyed the news to Srila Prabhupada said, yes, I was praying, to Radha Raspihai to please take care of him. And they rightly did. But at the same time, His Holiness Devamrita Swami was once saying this, that when it comes, we should perform our duty. Obviously, Krishna says to Arjuna, perform your prescribed duty and always think of me. But then also be detached from the results. And Maharaj describes, if you see Srila Prabhupada's detachment, he fought so hard for the Juhu temple, he went to great extremes. But in the end, he left this planet 3 months before the Juhu temple opened. I've done enough, as soon as, there was some, he wasn't, it wasn't his disposition that, Krishna, I fought so hard for this, for you, please let me stay till the opening. No. He just left. Bhagavatam, I've given you enough. And, the Hridananda Maharaj and Gopi Pranadana Prabhu, help finishing it. So, that sense of detachment, obviously Krishna says way of progression devotional service is that he gives knowledge and detachment. Knowledge by which one can come to him, and detachment from the results of activities. Interesting enough, when I was hearing this class by Ramapad Maharaj, and he was describing, the benefit or the injunctions. Where does one go when if one rules perfectly? So a lot of times, dharma, a lot of religions in the world don't have that clear distinction of heaven and the kingdom of God. Usually, it's the same. And once, Srila Prabhupada also has this question by, I believe it was Rupa Nuga Prabhu, that where do the Christians go and the Buddhists go? Something like that. And Srila Prabhupada responded to him, if there is a perfect Christian, then they would actually go to Brahma Loka. They would go to Brahma Loka, and then they would obviously execute austerities, and when Brahma is getting ready to go, then they actually follow him. And the Buddhists, this was Srila Prabhupada writing, they would go to the Viraja river, the river that separates the material and the spiritual world. Because, and obviously I'm not that well versed in Buddhism, I'm just repeating what Maharaj had said, that in the Buddhist tradition, it's a two-step process. First, when you leave this world, you actually go to the land of bliss, and then you enter the land of nothingness. So that which is neither here or there, Maharaj saying, that's my understanding, that's what they call the land of nothingness, and that's Viraja river. Obviously this has to be explored in further detail, but this is what was described. Again, we'll see later on King Veena, being true to his demoniac nature, will actually offer justification, as as does Hiranyakashipu when he's the moment when there's someone greater than you, or in this case, Veena is being is being taught an accountability for his actions because of the law of karma. Similarly, with Hiranyakashipu, you know, when he asks his son, "My dear son, where do you get your power from?" Prahlad just tells, "From the same place as you, my father, Vishnu," and that just enrages Hiranyakashipu so much. So um, there's so much there to learn, especially in how what not to do. So we see that from the story of King Veena and so many other personalities in the Bhagavatam. So do's and don'ts, and obviously this chapter speaks on the don'ts and what the sages then have to do to restore peace, and to make sure that the lineage is protected. Okay, so I'll end here. Someone has any question or any comments? Yes, bro. Joy. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, just up until 3 years ago, whenever I think the first year of COVID, they wanted to, because of COVID regulations, they didn't want the Rath Yatra to take place just because what that would cause. And I think the Jagannath Puri temple told the government that if Jagannath doesn't come out, good luck. it'll, it'll, it'll just be last time, something like that. I'm not sure if there was a precedent for it. There's something that happened when they didn't do it, but they just told him. So then the government agreed to have the Rath Yatra, and just, they came up with some protocol, and those that will actually pull the Rath, those that will be involved, then they have to quarantine. So something like that. So obviously, in the land of Puri, or Jagannath, the Lord of the Universe rules, and obviously, how grateful are we to Srila Prabhupada to bring Jagannath to us? So, thank you for sharing, bro. Yes, bro. Prithu. Yeah, Prabhu. He discusses that in this is chapter 14, and it's discussed in chapter 15. I don't know the exact verse. Prabhupada writes that there is a science to do things, and the sages knew the science, how to do it. And the fact that they were able to churn it, it said that if, by churning it, it's not that they brought King Veena back to life, because King Veena was already gone. And Prithu took shelter. Actually, it wasn't Prithu. Right after the churning, there was another personality, Nishara, who actually came out. So there was a race so it's assumed that all the sinful reactions or whatever it was, actually Nishara race. I believe it's the Shudra class. I can't remember exactly that that race came about, and only then after that, King Prithu comes out. But the fact that the soul is separate from the body. So, the soul had already left the body, because had that been the case, then King Veena would have come back to life. So King Prithu is some other personality who took shelter of it. And I mean, yes, it's astonishing, because that just means that I can go and apply the same science and, get a dead body to produce a body. But I mean, if you really see, then in the 8th canto or 9th canto, there's a personality who comes out just by the sneezing of Swayambhuva Manu. Yeah. It's not Krishna or Vishnu, but Swayambhuva Manu, just by sneezing, the personality comes out. So, which means that the soul is spiritual, and it doesn't actually depend on matter to come to life. Hmm. 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 Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Veera. Well, King Anga himself had tried. If you see towards the end of the previous chapter, he tried to, reform him, but and it didn't actually work. So then that's when he left. Um, that was your second question. What is the first question again? Veera. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. I mean, if you really see, they're trying to. A lot of times when you're trying to pump up someone, you'll use words like in the previous verse they're trying to tell him the glories of executing your duties properly. So if you do that, you'll actually be considered to be a Veera, which means that if so you'll be a hero. So they're trying to see what they can do to reform him, but obviously that doesn't work, as we'll see in the forthcoming verses. Thank you. Thank you. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवताम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। हिताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।